Good morning from wherever it is that you are watching us from. My name is Simba Elijah Charles Kiage. On this 14th of February 2023, let's talk security. But from this perspective again, because if you look at the conversations around the country, security is taking the center stage in the country from a national level to a home level. Now, how you understand it though is if indeed I'm going to be secure as a business and as an individual, and even companies that are into protecting property, the question is going to be, what are the investment trends that I actually need to conform to in a 2023 if I'm going to have my name and my business in a security line conversation? As I do know, it's 14th of February, so let's talk to you about security shortly before we drift later into conversations about Valentine's. Now, to help us then get into this conversation about the investment trends in security, and at 2023, we are joined by the Chief Commercial Officer, SGA Group. His name, Jackson Mbuthia. How are you doing, sir?
Morning, Elijah.
Happy to have you around.
Thank you.
Listen, when I talk about security, I'd like to begin it from a very simple perspective. Every time people hear security, they think it on a basic level. I can wake up in the morning, I can go to work, I can come back from work, I can go back to home, and that's it. Conversations on security, why are they important in a 2023? And if somebody asked you, talk to me about security, from what perspective would you introduce them security?
Actually, Elijah, I think you've gone quite far. You're thinking about waking up from home and your journey to the office and then coming back. Done. Normally, in our field, we're told people think security is the watchman holding the rungu, and it ends there. The guy who opens the gate for you in the morning and will open it for you when you come back in the evening, yes. and that's basically the end of security. But I think there's many facets to security. Yes. Personal security, where there's elements of situational awareness, like you said. So you've woken up in the morning, you're going to work. Okay. Along that journey, there is significant risk that you will be exposed to. The way you drive your car, if you're commuting, where you'll board the matatu, is it a safe, matatu stage or bus stop? Yes. The way you conduct yourself could make you prone to, the opportunistic mugger, because they can see, okay, it's a lady, she's walking with her handbag, it's not zipped up. It's sitting loosely on her shoulder. I can quickly, as an opportunistic criminal, just, grab it and run. We've seen the prevalence of this border muggings where even I think our own police officers have been victims. Yes. Of the border rider who comes and you're on your phone and he picks up the phone and runs off with it. Okay. So there's elements of situational awareness, keeping your car doors locked as you drive. So there's security speaks to many things, and then in our space as a private security provider in the region, normally it boils down to we have two core customer tiers that we look at. There's the domestic or residential user, and then there's a corporate user. And so we will deliver solutions or tailor-make them depending on the customer that comes through to us. Pretty much. Yeah.
But we're going to get to the part of the conversation where the definition of security has changed from what it used to be. And I'll take you back all the way to the 2020 period when we got into the COVID-19 pandemic up to where we are right now. Because we woke up and then said, we need more skills from security. It's just not going to be about this protection that we're talking about. But just before we get there, for any other person who wants to understand who SGA Group are and why you would like to present yourself as the pioneer and talking about modern security, how would you introduce your company?
Yeah. So SGA is actually one of the oldest, longest running security companies in the region. It was actually founded in 1969.
That's so, a long time.
Yes, we've been running, I think we'll be 54 years this year. We employ over 20,000 people in the region. So our operations span Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania, with headquarters in Kenya. We are an ISO 18788 certified organization, which means we aspire and live very high standards in as far as the provision and delivery of private security services is concerned. So,
yes.
so the ISO 18788 is a quality standard specific to providers of private security services. Yes. Coupled with that, we are also ICOCA certified. ICOCA is the International Code of Conduct Association. And this looks specifically, again, to people who hire, or companies that hire, security officers, guards, and it's geared to embed, human rights, entrench human rights and humanitarian law in the delivery of those services, so that the guards are not taken advantage of or exposed to unnecessary risk without due attention have been paid to the working conditions that, yes. that they're on. Okay. But also more importantly for Kenya is that we are licensed by the Private Security Regulatory Authority, which is the regulator for the private security industry in Kenya. And in effect, without that license, one cannot offer security services in Kenya in a legal way.
Yes, yeah. Pretty much.
We offer the full spectrum of security services. So I think what the common wananchi they will probably see is the guard, but then also our cash in transit vehicles. We are dominantly orange. In fact, we keep saying that our intention and desire is to paint the East African region orange, yes. Not the ODM orange. But
when you talk about that, did you? All right.
Yes. Yeah. So we have we offer guarding services.
Yes.
We offer cash in transit services. We also do electronic security. So we're in the business of providing intrusion detection and alarm response services for both domestic and corporate clients. We install CCTV systems, closed circuit television, yes. Access control systems for both pedestrian and vehicular traffic. We install fleet management solutions for someone who has a fleet of trucks and would like to know where they're going. Provide a solution where the drivers can, call for assistance if they're, for example, they've been kidnapped or hijacked, yes. With the panic button. Fuel monitoring. There's very many fuel operators or fleet managers have an issue with, siphoning of fuel. It's one of the largest costs that they encounter. So we provide solutions around trying to mitigate that risk. We also one of the approved ECTS, electronic cargo tracking service providers. So we worked with the Customs Department to see bonded cargo move through Kenya. So a container of goods destined for Uganda will be discharged in Mombasa, and we put a tracking device on it that yes. Enables customs to track and monitor that container is not opened until it gets to the destination in Uganda and beyond. So.
All right. It's a good thing that you're touching on the areas that I wanted to get into quickly then. Mm-hmm. And I would like to start from this perspective, businesses.
Yeah.
I mean, security has to be one of those bigger areas that you have to think about as a business. If you're essentially going to say, I'm in a profitable area, security has to be number one. Yep. Am I secure while I'm doing this business? For any other businesses listening you today, I know you've touched on them on a lighter note, but let's just go back. Right now in a 2023, yep. You're looking at various businesses, whatever industry that they are. What are the security must-haves for particular businesses in 2023 that you, yeah. as a SGA, are offering?
Okay. I think as you've outlined, yeah, every business is different, so the requirements would be, they would differ. You tweak them from one organization to another, but the one thing that you find is integral. Obviously, one is the physical security of the building. Obviously, within your office premises, you have valuable assets, computers, furniture. The inventory that you're selling, or the stock that you're holding, or financial institutions, money. So the physical security is obviously the first thing that you'd look at. How easy is it for someone to gain entry in an unauthorized manner? So it speaks to the security of your doors, the walls, perimeter walls and your gate. And we always say security starts from the outside, or you start your security protection from the outside working inwards.
Yes.
So you'll start with your external perimeter. If you have a wall fence, probably you'd put electric fence on it as a first deterrent, but also should someone then decide to jump over it, it warns you before they've come close to your business or to your office complex that there's someone who's on their way. Okay?
And that is the technology that you're talking about now.
Yes.
Within your security systems now,
yes. Okay.
which are up to date in 2023.
These are actually I'll take a step back and put it this way. Going back maybe even just simply 15, 20 years ago,
yes,
there wasn't much integration of different elements of security. So everything was siloed. Okay? So you'd have a wall. You'd come to the door and you have a lock. You'd go into the building or into the office and there's a safe. Okay? None of those things spoke to one another. Okay? Then the advent of technology came in, okay? And we start introducing, like you said, the electric fence that is now has the capacity to be connected to a transmission device, such that if someone was to breach the fence, it creates a siren, okay, or a signal to notify someone that there is potential breach. Okay? As you now come closer into the office complex, you put in intrusion detection systems, which before, again, very standalone. It is, you'd put, for example, a sensor on the door. When you open the door, the siren goes off, okay? But it was localized to whoever could hear the siren. There was no transmission of that signal to, a security company such as ourselves to then come in and offer a response. Okay? So everything was very standalone. If you had a CCTV system, CCTV actually is closed circuit television. It's a closed circuit. So the cameras would record at the site, and no one else had access to that recording or footage unless you actually came to the site. Presumably there's an incident the previous day, and you'd now play back through the previous 12 or 24 hours of recording to try and find out at what point did this person come in, what time did the break-in happen, what time did the person leave. Okay?
Yes.
It was very, let's say, analog in nature. Okay? But now, all the systems are interconnected. Your CCTV system, your access control system, your intrusion detection system, your vehicle management system, your visitor management system, all those systems are now talking to one another, okay? Such that it is possible for me today, okay, to log you, Elijah, as a visitor coming through to our offices, okay? And at the point, and I'll capture certain details. I could even just, you could send me your, just a thumbnail,
yes,
a passport photo,
yes,
okay? And I could put that into my system, okay? The visitor management system. So by the time you come, when you arrive at the gate, okay, the guard there already knows that this is Elijah, and they can verify, okay, based on the photo that has been provided for, this is indeed Elijah, okay? Maybe that first time they'll take now your details. Your ID number may be your vehicle registration number, okay? As just a simple visitor registration, and in you come,
yes,
okay? When you get to the front office door, there's an access control system. Because you've already been registered, it gives you passage because you're known as an accepted guest. You can come through, okay? You'll go to the lift. It knows that you're coming to see me. I sit on the 4th floor. When you get into the lift, okay, you can either press the 4th floor button, it will take you up, or by virtue of you being alone in that lift and be cognizant of the fact that you're coming to see Jackson on the 4th floor,
yes,
the lift will take you to the 4th floor. And when you get to the 4th floor landing, there's an access control point there. You're already a registered visitor. You'll have easy passage, okay, because you've been registered. For an intruder or someone who's unregistered, all these points, there'll be a blockade. They're stopped, they're stopped, they're stopped. Okay? So all the systems now talk to one another. On the CCTV side, there's now a lot of technology and advancement on facial recognition. And I know it's been a contentious issue.
I was going to talk to you about that, yes, as well, but just let's jump into it.
But actually, I think it's gone leaps and bounds from where we were, even just as recently as 10 years ago, to where it is today. Okay? So there's typically 2 scenarios, okay? Whitelist and blacklist, okay? So whitelist are, let me say, are the good guys, okay? So you're a visitor of SGA, okay? We put your photo into the CCTV system, and so we want you coming through with uninterrupted, okay? Jackson is a bad guy, okay? So he goes onto the blacklist, okay? So anytime he appears anywhere that a camera picks up his image, okay, we want an alert that that is someone that is either unwelcome on this property or has been known in the past to, conduct crime, okay, steal. Okay? So it's someone that is a red flag, okay? So when they come anywhere near your property, you want to be notified of it. And this is technology that actually we've implemented. The financial services sector has it. So if you're a fraudster, you've gone into one bank branch, okay? You conduct your fraud and theft, okay? The security department will then, pick up your mugshot, I can call it that, okay? Put it into their database, okay? So let's assume you do that in Mombasa, okay? You then take a vehicle and come to Nairobi and walk into another bank branch within CBD. Okay, with the systems there today, you've been flagged as a fraudster, so you're on the blacklist. Okay, as soon as you walk into the branch in Nairobi, having performed crime in Mombasa, the system will alert you. And the banks nowadays they've come of age. All of them actually now are developing centralized control rooms. So irrespective of the bank and how many branches they've got in their control room, they have visibility of all their branches. So what will happen is there'll be a red flag comes up on the system and says, Elijah just walked into some bank on Kenyatta Avenue. Okay, and then you can then now activate the security team to come and pick you up, the police to pick you up. So it's the whole security, all the systems are now becoming one ecosystem. Okay? The way we choose to look at it is, whereas before security was seen as, actually most security departments they were cost centers, okay? It's a center where the head of security will say, okay, I need CCTV cameras, I need an access control system, I need guards. In fact, guards is because it's recurrent. Every month you're paying for the deployment of guards that you've got, okay? So it was cost, I need, okay? But security, where it has come today, it's actually now an enabler to business. So it's not an enabler.
And that's quite important.
An enabler to business. Yes,
for you to look at it from that perspective.
Correct.
That part of your business plan is going to be, what about security? Yes.
Okay. And so we can carve that up.
Yes.
Okay. Let me just touch briefly on them. I spoke about we do offer fleet management.
Pretty much.
Okay. So the fleet management system actually is the backbone of it is a normal vehicle tracking solution. So the vehicle tracking solution will tell you where your car is, because it uses GPS to locate the vehicle, whether the engine is running, what speed the vehicle is moving at, okay, where it has stopped, whether it's the driver is over-revving the engine, whether the driver is harsh braking the system, okay. And then we append to it the fuel monitoring solution. So in the fuel tanks, we'll put in a fuel sensor that checks the level of the fuel. Okay? So anybody who has a large fleet of trucks, or even just one truck, okay? So you load up your vehicle with cargo in Mombasa, and it's coming to, let's say it's coming to Nairobi. Okay? It's a full tank, 400 liters, say, okay, and the journey begins, okay. And based on your computations from a commercial perspective, you know that 400 liters will get me probably to, just for argument's sake, to Mtito, okay. Then fill up another 400. That should get the guy to Nairobi, okay. When the driver leaves Mombasa, gets around Mariakani, pulls over to the side of the road, okay, and siphons 100 liters of fuel. A quarter of the tank is gone, okay? And you'll probably go to, there are many, a fuel den somewhere, and trade the fuel for some cash, okay? That obviously has significant impact for you as a business owner, okay? Not only is it, inflating or causing you to have much higher, operating cost, but then also, when they decant the 100 liters, because he knows he must get to Mtito to get his refueling, he'll probably top it up with something adulterated, okay, which has also now makes it even worse, okay, because it's affecting the running of your engine. It's affecting the just the how long the shelf life or the lifespan that the particular truck that you've invested quite a huge chunk of money will run for. So you now take this tracking system with the fuel monitoring, okay, and you begin now to put in checks and balances, okay. We can say that from loading in Mombasa all the way to Mtito, this truck should not stop, okay. You put in a parameter and says if it stops for more than a minute or 2 minutes, okay, notify me. If this truck deviates from the Mombasa highway as we know it, okay, yes. It goes off only just as far as 50, 100 meters off the main track, notify me, okay. So you now begin to use what is previously just a security system, okay, as a business management tool. Okay. Yeah. But also along that way, okay, it will tell you that from Mombasa to Mtito, typically with a truck, it takes 6 hours. Okay, so even in terms of how you engage with your customer, okay, so customer has contracted you to deliver mzigo, okay, you can know almost to let's say to the hour, okay, yes, to the hour. When that mzigo should arrive, okay, and anything deviating from that, okay, is a flag, okay. So you have control of your own operations, but then also you have control of, from a customer service perspective, you can inform your customer where the consignment is, when it will be arriving, and in what state it will be arriving.
Pretty much. Okay. Guess what, Jackson? I just want to take a tiny break. Once we come back, then the businesses and individuals that are listening to you today, and then I'm wondering, in all this solutions that you're offering, some of them that have now moved into business management solutions from a security perspective, where do we begin from? Remember, it's 2023, we're talking about security. Another conversation is, do you know whether your business is actually secure with these security solutions that you're talking about? And again, once we come back, then I'll be talking to you about how you as a company have moved. Now you find yourself in issues of data and data protection. You're collecting and processing data. Is that predisposing you to become something else other than security, or the definition of security in essence is also changing? Good. Now we do know exactly what the conversation is. And once we come back from this break, we still do have Jackson with us, really talking about SGA, but not just about SGA then, practically about why security is not just about security now. It's moved into something different. In fact, he's saying, well, it's a business management tool. That by itself will show you exactly where we are in 2023 when we talk about security. Once we come back at Lookuptv across all your social media platforms. By the way, some of those comments that you're sending in, I can actually get to see them. I'm going to put them to him. Keep them coming in. Once we come back right here at the Morning Draft.
Usiwahi cheza na mboga yangu. Na unafuata nani? Usisikuone ukinifuata. Nimekwambia una shares kwa hii kuku. You got the roof, man.
Hebu kwanza rudi ndani ufresh hiyo choo na make sure umespray.
Juli, kwani wewe? Hii tumbo yako mimi najua inaweza ingiza kila kitu. Hata chuma nikishiaga nikupea, hata plastic najua utakula. Kwani leo kunaendaje? Kuna kitu sielewi.
Kabisa Mbuthia. Yaani umeamua kulala uchi.
Sasa kama hakuna ile nguo inanitosha, unataka nifanye aje?
Because you are fat.
Sasa ukiongelea mimi ati fat, na Julie tutasemaje?
Vera Beauty and Fashion College is focused on being the leading technical and vocational training institute in the region. Our team possesses in-depth knowledge and extensive experience in the industry, offering thorough training in cosmetology, hairdressing, interior design, creative arts, training of trainers, nail technology, and fashion design. With branches in Nairobi, Thika, Meru, Eldoret, and now in Mombasa, our courses ensure that learners are completely equipped with knowledge, competency, and employability skills. Enroll today to be a part of a center of excellence.
I can see your questions coming in online at Lookuptv across all your social media platforms. I can see, yes, Innocent Onyango, I'm going to ask him your question. I can see Job Kiage, good morning. Thank you very much for watching. That's my brother this morning, was watching all the way from JKU. Thank you very much. I'm going to ask him that question that you've just sent in. Also, Anne Wangige, thank you very much. I'm also going to ask him that question as well. Fantastic. Just before we get there, because I know we're going to deal in your questions as well, let's clear this particular area that we picked up in the first part of our conversation in as much as security is concerned. Now, Jackson, believe it or like it or not, because if you're talking about smart technology, smart security in 2023, then technology is a big part of that. And you mentioned about it, how now we're able to collect data, process data, devices communicating between one another, just to enhance those security details. Now, you as a company that has been in operation since 1954, you said?
69.
69.
69, yeah.
You find yourself now morphing into something different, where essentially now you're touching on businesses, you're touching on personal lives, but this particular one, data collection. Because whatever it is that you're talking about here, if you're going to equip your security guards with smart devices, they're collecting data. Smart locks, they're collecting data. Video surveillance, that is essentially data collection tools and analytical software as well. Speaking from that, are you now essentially a data processing company? Is that what you're saying?
I think we sort of like stride both sides.
Yes.
As a data collector and also as a processor.
Yes.
Because, like you said, the sector has morphed. Early days, the collection point was very limited to just the guard with the visitor log or the occurrence book at the gate, collecting name, ID number, phone number, sign.
Yes.
Okay. In a manual book, which in essence was easy to control, because once you collected the book, ideally you know where it was, and so you had, in a sense, a bit of control over where that data went. Okay. CCTV is also, well, back then also, because it was closed and limited to just the particular location that it was recorded, there was control over that as well. Okay. But now, where technology has gone, okay, we talk about Internet of Things, we talk about big data, we talk about the cloud. So today, a lot of, for example, the CCTV recording doesn't happen on site. It's happening on the cloud. So we moved away from having physical control of the hard drive or the VHS cassette that used to be there in the 90s, okay, to now data just sitting on a cloud. And who has access to that data? I think the controls around that have to be a lot more stringent. The data has to be encrypted to try and, reduce as much as possible the chances of an external party, an unwanted party, an unauthorized party gaining access to that data, because then you don't know what they're going to do with it. And in our line, we end up having to collect a lot of data because, the one thing about offering security is that our clients want to know who came and who went. or what are the ongoings around the business establishment or their home. So. Yes. Invariably, we're having to collect data, and I think even as SGA, we have begun the process of also trying to get, with the Data Protection Act compliant, because even within our space, there's a lot of question marks. We're still trying to find our footing in terms of who owns the data. So when our guard is logging the visitors coming through, okay, is that our data? Or is that the customer's data? Okay, so it's a bit of there's some lack of clarity there. Yes. When you walk into into a bank branch, okay, and your face is captured going in to transact, okay, the security solution might be mine in terms of I installed the CCTV system. I'm the one who does the maintenance. I probably even I'm on a subscription model with the bank. Yes. Okay? But ordinarily in the contract it will be that the data belongs to the bank. But if I collect my system, yes, the data is coming back with me.
And, okay? And the other question would be, but the bank is also not in the business of collecting that type of data.
No, in fact, the bank only wants to know that if there's an incident, yes, they can go back and, take the steps back and try and determine what happened. Okay, so they will say we're not in the business of collecting data. We just want it's a security solution. Yes. So, and I think these are sort of like the areas that, as we dig deeper into this Data Protection Act, we will seek clarity and trying to understand. Or just unmuddy the waters, as it were. Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
All right, let's move into a business that is listening to you. Now, I just want you to touch on it quickly before we also move into personal security as well, homes and estates. Yeah. Come on, there's a business listening to you today. They're saying, wow, I think I need up-to-date 2023 security. How do you work with those businesses? How does your risk assessment go? And is it done once you offer them security, that's it? Or talk to me about the journey that you work with businesses.
Okay. No, so the security system you put in actually, it's dynamic because, I mean, the environment around you changes almost every day or on regularly. So it's not a one-time thing. But normally what will happen is if you've set up your business or in the process of setting up your business, or you had an incident and you're feeling, okay, I seem to be somewhat exposed. What will normally happen is we will come in and just have a conversation with you, try to understand what is your business, how do you run it, okay? What are these risks that you perceive? Because only as an individual, you know your business best, okay? You know where, even in terms of your own processes, you feel there might be lapses. I may not be able to know that, okay? But maybe from asking the right questions, we'll get to the bottom of where those risks lie.
Yes.
Okay? So once we understand the business, then next is to see what the potential risks are, and then to craft solutions that then speak to mitigate those risks.
Yes.
Normally there'll be a survey. Like I said, there'll be a conversation that we have to understand what your business is, and then there'll be a survey to look at. The thing about security systems is that they require physical installation. So we need to come and see where your business is to determine where what's the best mix and match to meet your requirements. Do you require an alarm system, an intrusion detection system? Do you require CCTV? Nowadays, I think CCTV is almost, everybody has it. You cannot have it.
You cannot have it.
So where do you locate the CCTV cameras? And there's also it's not just, a one-size-fits-all. And the one area that I know many people have actually fallen is that anybody with basic technical skills says I can install a CCTV system. Okay, so you'll walk down Luthuli Avenue, come back with a 4-camera system, and you think, yeah, this will work for my business. No, depending on, even looking at the studio here, my mind is already racing. If I was to put cameras here, which type? Where would they be? Okay, because you have to take into account lighting. Where is the source of light, backlighting, and so on, because it affects the clarity of the image. Yeah. Do you want a wide angle, looking at a broad area? Do you want it a narrow angle that gives you more detail? So the wider the angle it is, the less detail you have. The narrower it is, the more detail you get. So there's all these things. And people actually go to school to study this. We have a battalion of technicians that actually we've trained, okay, to give them the skills and and the knowledge necessary to install and implement proper and well-crafted solutions.
Pretty much.
So once we determine what system you require and the parameters around which the system will be configured, what will then normally follow is we'll give you a proposal for you to consider, and once we've worked out the commercial terms, we come and do the installation. But then after that, and this is where I think also very many people fall short. A security system is like your car. Okay, you don't buy a security system. You don't go and buy your car from. You walk into DT Dolby, drive it to the brand new E-Class, okay, and then you say, oh no, for the first year, or I have warranty. I think the first 50,000 kilometers, and you still go back and check your coolant level, your oil level. You check your tire pressure.
Yes.
Okay, it's still a brand new car, but it still needs to be maintained. So most people, where they normally fall is that they'll buy a system, okay, and then leave it for a year, 2 years without any maintenance having been done. Okay, you're basically just reducing the utility of that system. So normally for us it's a journey. So once we deliver the system for you, what we'll then go into is regular preventive maintenance, so that we extend the life of the system as much as possible.
Yes.
Because the electronic components, so they'll accumulate dust. You need to get them cleaned up. The cameras, where they are, in our part of the world, dust is there. So they do need to be given some degree of attention and care.
Pretty much.
But then once we do that, so we found a solution that spoke to your issues today. Okay, in 6 months' time, okay, something might have changed. Okay. Either your business environment has changed, okay, and that could take many factors, okay. Spoke about COVID. When COVID came, it called for basically the whole world to review access, okay, to the facility, interaction between human beings, so screening and separation of human traffic, okay.
Yes.
So that happens, we're not then need to come in, because the situation and the profile of your risk has changed, okay. So we'll then look at what has changed, okay, and determine what can be added or even removed, okay, to adapt to that current setting, okay. So it's a continuous, ongoing journey. Then even as your business develops, you change your product line or how you're offering that product, okay. All these things affect your security setup, and so we walk that journey with you to make sure that as your business adapts, or changes, morphs, grows, that we're there to walk the journey with you to supplement or complement the security requirement.
Fantastic. So let's dial it back a bit again. This is just part of one of the questions they're going to respond to, but let me just put it like this, because I think they have already asked that particular one. It's a good thing you've spoken about how security has just changed from this perspective. Even the guards themselves that are essentially, it's the most identifiable aspect of your security services. When I see a guard with an SGA badge, what am I seeing in this respect? What sort of training goes into your guards that then you would put outside there to manage these systems, to offer security solutions, to talk about security, to give risk assessment? Away from this fact, 2020 came with many lessons: communication, operations, understanding of real-time events in our surroundings.
So the guarding sector, I think, has also morphed or transformed significantly.
Yes.
We moved away from the watchman years ago, and in fact, it's something that we're trying to to rally even government. If you look at the general wages order, it still describes the guard as a watchman.
As a watchman.
And they're not that anymore.
Right, they're not?
They're not. What we have today
Yes.
is a private security officer.
I see that.
Okay? Because the job role has changed. Okay? And to facilitate that change has come training. Okay? So we have quite an extensive curriculum that we actually put our guards through before the guard can, proudly don the SGA uniform and actually be assigned to a post. What normally comes before that is about at least a month of training.
Yes.
Okay? Speaking to different, areas that the guard will be exposed to. The guard of today, beyond just being a doorman and looking out for controlling the access and entry, they're also they're profiling, and I use the word profiling loosely, not in a bad way. Okay, who comes through, trying to determine, is this person coming in with ill intent, or are they just the normal regular customer? Okay, they're a customer service agent, because normally the guard is the first person you'll put at the front entry of your door. Okay? And so based on how they present themselves and engage with the client, it will make the difference between that customer actually feeling welcome into your enterprise or feeling, no, I think I'd rather go somewhere else.
That's true.
Okay? So customer service becomes an integral part of the training for the guard. Okay? Like I said, the intelligence officers, because they'll come and see that person has been, they came, they stood for 3 minutes and then they left. They came, they seemed to be, conducting an assessment of how the opening and closing of doors happens. Okay, so they normally flag this what they consider to be suspicious activity with us, and then we bring that to the attention of the customer.
Yes.
Even then, just people coming just with nefarious intent. As soon as they see someone walking through the door, and you can see the person is either holding a weapon or they're looking aggressive in a particular way, they'll call for assistance, lock down their premises. We've had that. Okay, so they'll also proactively look at the prevailing environmental conditions around the well-being of the business, and also take judgment calls and say, okay, fine, based on my own understanding, I think here there's potentially a problem coming in, let's lock down. Okay. They're also first aiders and fire marshals, because that's training that we take them through. Okay. So in the event that someone has a medical issue on your premises, normally they have been sufficiently trained, okay, to offer at least that first degree of medical assistance to try and preserve life or prolong life. Okay? And then they're also going to now into other areas. There are those that are work with our canine section, for instance. So they're trained dog handlers, and so in detection of narcotics, of explosives, general search and patrol duties. So you sort of begin to specialize in that area. Like I said, we have those that actually serve as front office desk personnel. So their focus is customer service and just making your customers feel that they really, we have clients that our guards actually will go and even don the customers or the client's staff uniform. Okay, we'll put them through bespoke training. So the same training that, for example, you'd put your staff through from a customer engagement, customer service perspective.
Yes.
Our guards will actually attend the same training, so they're part and parcel of the organization.
Yes.
Yeah.
So they don't just stand out as we're just here for the security perspective, isn't it?
Correct.
All right. Now we have 6 minutes.
Okay.
I beg that we go to the direct questions that have come in,
okay.
And I'm going to start with this one from Jack, and this is what he's saying. All right. A-list security. Do you have it? What do I expect?
Sorry.
A-list security.
Elite.
A-list, in the sense of, let me just try and understand what he's asking. A-list in the sense of personal security, maybe?
Yes, okay.
Do you have it? Yeah, A-list security.
A-list security.
Yeah, A-list
okay.
security. Do you have it? And what should they expect?
Okay, yes, so we do provide what we call close protection security.
Yes.
Okay, so you'll have a VIP comes into the country. We'll normally, so we have an arrangement.
Yes.
We'll even meet them at the airport, fast track their clearance through immigration, and then put them in secure convoy to their hotel. And we provide a close protection officer to be with them through and through. Okay, just someone who's has an understanding of where this person wants to go, the security risks or threats that sit around that. And we basically just try to make their journey as comfortable or their stay as comfortable as possible.
Yes.
And as safe as possible.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Innocent Onyango, who's actually wishing from Kisumu, is saying, I've got 3 trucks. You've spoken about the fuel tracking system.
Yeah.
You're saying that's why it's suffering most.
Okay.
How much would it cost to subscribe into that service?
It's actually not that expensive. And there's two commercial models that we actually go to our customers with. Okay? One is an outright purchase model where they would buy the equipment, put it into their truck, okay, and it's their property.
Yes.
But it then comes with a small recurrent fee for the platform access, because then you need the software that goes into, or software developed for tracking the system, for setting up those parameters. So yes. You could buy the equipment and then pay us a recurrent, a monthly license fee.
Yes.
Or the other model, actually, which is where majority of our clients are, is you're in the transport business, I'm in the security business. So you simply come to me and says, I need a tracking system, and I'll install it. I'll buy the equipment, install it at my expense. Okay. So what you pay is a slightly higher monthly fee, but then all the worries concerned with running that system are not yours, they're mine. So if you've bought the equipment, if something breaks down, then you have to buy to replace it. Yes. If you're on a subscription model with me, you have perpetual warranty, in the sense that as long as you're in contract with me, and the onus is on me to make sure that you have a working system.
Pretty much.
So those are two commercial models that we offer. All our technical solutions. So not just even the tracking, even the CCTV, the access control, the alarms, where we save the potential client the need to have the capital outlay. So we take on that burden. So the customer pays for a small, a fixed monthly fee.
Yes.
That is all encompassing of the equipment, of the maintenance, of the warranty replacements. It's one service.
It's one service.
Yeah.
Good. Irene from Nakuru. She's asking, I have not employed trained security personnel,
Yeah.
but I have many of them. Can you train them, and how much is that going to cost?
Yes, we do offer training, although I'll take a caveat on that. Mm-hmm. So as I mentioned, we are licensed by the Private Security Regulatory Authority, the regulator that actually now has oversight over the private security sector. So last year, or the last 2 years, they've been vetting and licensing private security providers. I think what's coming in line next is for them to license the approved training institutions for offering private security service, or for training private security providers. So I
yes.
think Irene may need to hold just a bit for that gazettement to come out, so she can then know which institution she can actually then direct her personnel to be trained.
Pretty much. This is from Job, my brother. He's watching this morning. This is the most interesting one, and I've saved it for the last. They're saying, could you ask him, with a lot of muggings in the country, especially motorcycle muggings. Nobody's safe from it, is what they're saying.
Yes.
What is his #1 self-awareness trick?
I don't go anywhere.
So says the girl who's watching you here today. Yeah.
Anyway, I think even the way those, the border criminals, and it's not all of them. There's just, it's a select few that have chosen to tarnish the name of the border industry. But you can look at how they go about their affair. Normally, they target someone who's walking along the pavement, actually quite close to the road, because they need a space to get away. Okay. Open road is even better. Okay. So just if you're walking along the road, normally walk facing the traffic so you can see them coming. That would normally help. Okay? But then also just put your phone away. Have your bag on the opposite shoulder from where the traffic is. Okay, or have both straps around your shoulders. Okay, it's basic situational awareness, and just give your surroundings just a quick assessment and see. That border guy, if he was to snatch my phone, which way would he be coming from? And which way would he be going? Okay, and then just move away. I'd say.
Pretty much. Now,
Okay.
take 15 seconds to respond to this. From 1964.
69.
69.
Yeah.
I keep on losing that figure. I don't know what's going on. I didn't sleep okay yesterday. 3 hours is not doing good on me.
Yeah.
From 1969 up to 2020, that's a long journey. You're almost now among the oldest companies you would talk about in the country. What do you see yourself? It's a complex question to ask a bigger company like you. What is yourself in the next 50 years? But let's talk about the next 5 years. What is this thing that you're looking to fill?
5 years, I think, is a fair outlook. And like I said, our desire is to paint Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, and this African region orange.
Yes.
So we actually have a number of new products suited to the financial services sector, suited to the domestic sector, to hospitality, the medical field, that we'll be implementing, that we feel are very fit for purpose in those specific industries. And then even the way we deliver those products, we'll see as you know, as a leading, or rather the security provider of choice for you know, for homes, and for corporates in general.
Yes.
We're very focused around, you know, having a secure platform or structure base against which we build onto our products, because it's one thing to pick up business, it's something else to ensure that the customers, you know, have a pleasant experience, and that we deliver on the promise of, you know, we said we're going to offer this service, and that's actually what we deliver to the customer. So
yes.
we're in the process, and have continued based on, like I said, we're ISO certified, we're COCA certified, just building on that foundation to sort of position ourselves to deliver stellar service consistently through and through, okay? And then on the back of that, expand our product offering so that then we're able to reach basically every Kenyan, Ugandan, Tanzanian, and African as we're looking to expand into the rest of the region.
Pretty much. Yeah. I'm not going to say this as we're clear. For a man who's doing this for the very first time, your communication officer might be in trouble after this. I don't think you need him. Anyway, thank you very much for coming.
Simba, thank you.
This has been a lovely conversation.
Likewise.
We want to have you back again so we could look into other security issues in the country. I mean, you'll be well placed to talk to us about that.
I'll be
Guess
happy
what?
to come too. Yeah.
That is Jackson, who's the chief commercial officer of SGA Group. Now, you do know, even when you're running a business, I mean, the bigger takeaway from that is that security is not just security anymore. It's just a business element that you got to account for. If you're going to say, well, I'm in business. One of those areas that you got to invest in heavily, even as you invest in marketing and operations, it's got to be security as well. As our biggest moved. Guess what? Taking back to the time that it came online right here at Lookuptv, across all your social media platforms. I hope today I've answered all your questions. Yes, I know there were many, but I just put them together so you can actually get to go through them in the 5 minutes that we had for that. But any other question, you know what we do. We're going to give you contact details from our social media department, and if any comes up, they will be able to respond to you directly. We take a tiny break. Once we come back, Ian Ketani and I will be coming back to talk briefly about Valentine's, as much as I hate it, or the men's conference as well. And then after that, we step out. Good morning. This is Lookuptv.
Vera Beauty and Fashion College is focused on being the leading technical and vocational training institute in the region. Our team possesses in-depth knowledge and extensive experience in the industry, offering